slaves worked all the hours they were awake for their entire lives. I think like if they can do it, so can I. Now you're like, well, did they have a happy existence? Well, they didn't get to pick the work they did, but it means that you can work. That's if you have the cap behind you. You can work every hour of the day.
Throughout time, civilizations, people, philosophers have tried to figure out how to answer the question, how do we even exist in this worldly life? How do we balance our life and factors? How do we deal with the things around us? And how do we become the best man that we can be? But I want to answer this question according to what Islam tells us. Because our deen is perfect. We get guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's relayed through our messenger of God sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And his life, we can see exactly how we should be living our life, how we should be balancing. Because I've seen different brothers trying to answer the question. They speak about productivity, or they speak about, focusing more on Jannah, which I think is beautiful stuff. Allahumma barik. But I want to go really in depth as to how, according to the principles of the Quran and the Sunnah, how we should balance our life, Insha'allah. So the goal of this video is, yes, to break down exactly what, according to the Quran and the Sunnah, the principles from there, how we should balance our life so that we can be the best rijal possible for the sake of Allah. So I promise if you stay until the end of the video, you'll have all the information, motivation and mindset for you to get there, inshallah. Before that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sultan. I make videos for brothers who want to progress in the Deen and the Dunya. And if you like content like this of Islamic self-improvement and improvement for the sake of Allah, subscribe inshallah, because you'll get more content like this, full guides in depth and unfiltered videos that help you progress to become a best rijal that you can be. And if you want to join the Discord with like-minded brothers like yourself, so you can make righteous friends, then links are down in the description. Any other active links are there as well. And please check that out. It'll be appreciated. And let's get into the video. Chapter 1. The deen is our dunya. Now let's start with the mindset, because I think this question is wrong. It makes no sense. How do I balance my deen with my dunya? Let's look at the question colloquially, like how we understand it. The deen is kind of just ibadah and Islam, and the dunya refers to self-improvement in life. But let's look at the real question. What does deen and dunya actually mean? Not what we think it means. The deen is a comprehensive way of life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us as a guide for us to exist. How do I balance the way I'm supposed to live in the worldly life with the worldly life? Well, no, there is no balance, because the only thing we have is the way we're supposed to live. Do you understand what I'm saying? This separation between the deen and the dunya only comes from our programming as kids. We've been taught for so long to think that a deen and religion is separate from existence, or even self-improvement, right? Because all khair is in the deen. Think about it. Think about all the self-improvement things you want to do in your dunya that we're separating. All the things like training, looking better, making money, not wasting time, not procrastinating, fighting so that you can be better. All these things are in the deen of Allah. My problem is separating it, making it that we have to balance two things. We don't have to balance anything, because there's nothing to balance. There's only deen. So now that the question is a bit changed, let's go in depth with this point. Why is there only deen? There is no dunya. The problem is that the dunya has been ascribed to us. The way of the worldly life is the way of the kuffar. The way of the deen is the way that we're supposed to go through. The way of the kuffar is that they just chase materialism, status, money, all this stuff for nothing, for the black hole. But us as the Muslim, we know that our purpose in this life is what Allah told us. Allah says that I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me. So why do we have this double part of the equation when there's only one thing we gotta focus on? Worshipping Allah. And worshipping Allah comes from following the deen as best we can. Not following this black hole of chasing the dunya and spending our time with all these dunya goals. And this leads to success. We have to strive to be a better Muslim every single day. That's success. It's doing good, worshipping Allah better, seeking good knowledge, and staying away from the bad. If you did that every day, you'd be successful. This is what we should spend our time on. We shouldn't spend our time on balancing two ends of the scale. We should just spend our time on being the best Muslim we should be. And we're gonna go into depth of what that even means, right? And I'm not saying, please don't misunderstand, that the results or getting money or being fit and all these things, these are nice things. These are results that we want, but it's not what we strive for. It's not like we have the dunya goals and the deen goals. You only have the deen goals. These are results that we can use to fuel the purpose of being a better Muslim. If we have a fit body, we can pray better. It's a trust from Allah. We take care of it. Or you can even feel better about yourself and be more grateful to Allah. More times you say mashallah. If you have money, you can spend in the way of Allah. You can spend time seeking knowledge. You can spend time giving your rights to your kids and your wife. These things is the point. And we spoke about intention in the most recent video I made. You can go check that out. These results are not success. If you prayed 5 times today, just know that some kuffar will never prostrate to Allah in their entire life. What a sad existence. We're already successful. You're just striving to be a better Muslim, which will come with the results of the dunya, right? The results will come, Insha'allah. You will be financially free, Insha'allah. But this is not what we do. We're already successful. The results will come, bi'idhnillah, when Allah's qadr wills it, right? So, all I'm trying to say is that this belief that we should strive for the dunya stuff and the deen stuff is not right. All we should strive for is the deen, being a better Muslim, being a better slave, doing as good as possible, and the results will come when Allah wills it. Because we're still going to do the stuff that's khair, but we're not going to do it like it's outside of the deen. We have one path, one straight place, which is just be a better Muslim and a better man. So let's go back to the question now that we know all these things. There is no dunya path. There is only following the way of life that Allah gave us. And in that following of the deen, we will now know what to do with our life. We will know how to balance it. So let's go back to this question. It's not how do I balance the deen and the dunya. It's how do I become a better Muslim every single day with the factors of the dunya. Like the stuff that happens. Maybe some life happens, trauma happens, fitna, all these things. Okay, that's a question I can answer. But I want to ensure that you understand that there is no other path for the Muslim except to follow his deen. Follow his deen every single day, better, better, better. Because at the end of the day, what do you want? You want Jannah. And inside becoming a better Muslim means we strive to be an ideal Muslim. So that brings me to chapter 2. Chapter 2, the ideal Muslim. We're going to break down all the avenues on how we can become a better Muslim every day. Because now we know this is our purpose, this is what we do every day. We don't strive for 2, 3, 4, 5 different things. We only have one path. And in that one path, there are different avenues, different things we must do. But there is no separation between them. Now, I want to preface before I get into what we're supposed to do to be a better Muslim every day. Our deen is a deen that is moderate. Do not take any extreme, because like I said in the beginning, in Islam some people say that all you must do is just be in a state of like straight up salah until the day of judgment. Forget your family, forget your kids' rights, that doesn't matter. This is not the deen of Islam. And some people then say like, oh wallah, I just prayed my fard, I'm okay. Why would you do that? We're trying to be the best Muslim possible. We're not trying to just be average. We're trying to be the best that we can for the sake of Allah. So what that means is taking care of all the portions of our deen. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was speaking to someone who was doing a bit too much ibadah, right? He said, Allah has rights over you. Your body has rights over you. Your guest has rights over you, and your wife has rights over you. Meaning, you do have to do ibadah. Allah has a right over you, that you believe in Him alone and you do worship to Him. Your family has a right over you, your wife. You gotta make money to take care of them, put food on the table. Your body has rights, you gotta eat, you gotta train, you gotta eat well, you gotta sleep properly. Allah gave you your body, but it's not like you're supposed to abuse it. Your guest has rights over you. Being social, I think this is some portion of the rights that I don't give to people that much. And Insha'Allah, it's something I'm working on, because this is obviously what the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us. We have to give our due rights. And this I'll expand upon in the future of this video, Insha'Allah. But that is the point. We're not supposed to be extreme in one side or other. Being an ideal Muslim is being moderate in our deen, following our deen correctly, which is all the portions and rights we have to allocate to every single part of our deen and the relationship with the people in our deen. I think most of us are stuck in the extreme grind set, like self-improvement extreme. Like we just do the fard and we kind of forget that we should be actively doing more and more and more and more worship, but we're doing more and more and more and more self-improvement, right? So I think this is the extreme we've gone under. So Islam addresses all the different things that we're supposed to have in our life. The deen addresses this. So, number 1, striving in worship to Allah. And this is the one Satan's gonna fight you the most on. Because he does not want you, he will even allow you to be productive. But what he does not want is you to increase your connection and your taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we're gonna defy him, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us to do. So, number 1 is salah. We're going to work on like level systems. So we're going to upgrade our levels so that we can become better Muslims, if you get what I mean. So our salah level 1 is doing fard. Honestly, I think a big problem with the ummah is a lot of people don't pray salah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a hadith, something along the lines of like how the difference between us and a non-believer is salah. It's the second pillar of Islam. And we just treat it like it's, only the sheikhs and the pious people, they do that. I think most of us watching this, we do pray fard salah. But then I'll ask you, level 2. Have you been working so hard on your business that you haven't tried to implement sunnah salah in your life? When was the last time you prayed every single sunnah salah in the day? Wallahi, I think the last time I did that, every single one without fail, probably Umrah. Not even Umrah. A year ago. A year ago is probably the day that I didn't even do all the nighttime ones. And we want to be the best Muslims we can be, but we're not directly praying to Allah more. So if that is, I think that's where I am, level 2, you know, getting into your sunnah salah, you should actively strive in that. Because I've always said, like, just, you know, in my mind, I don't think I've said in videos, if we strived in the deen, the way that we do with our dunya, we would probably be like Hafid of Quran by now. Think about just the time you've wasted in the past 4 years on self-improvement. Just the time you've wasted, not the time you've spent doing, you know, different, maybe even meditation. I don't know. Any habit that you were doing in self-improvement. Imagine if you took that time to memorize just a few ayat a day. How far in the Quran would you be in memorization? The point I'm trying to illustrate is that we don't really strive in the ibadah like we do with our self-improvement. This is wrong. We should actively be increasing our worship and bettering the quality of it. Level 3 would be going to the jama'ah, the congregation. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says there's 27 times better to go and do salah with the congregation. You know, every single time I do asr, and I won't even say like I go to the congregation a lot. I'm not here to be munafiq, I'm telling you the truth. I'm in level 2 here. But level 3 of like, when I go on Friday after, normally sometimes I go asr, right, in the masjid. There's maybe 10 people. It's a masjid. But Jummah, just 3 hours ago, Jummah, it was full. People had to wait in the back so that you could come in. But then when it comes to Asr on a Friday, everyone's gone. I can't even imagine Fajr on a Saturday morning. How many people have Fajr Saturday morning? I'm not going to say like I'm one of them, but we should strive to get there. Because how can we not be in the masjid? It doesn't make any sense. And specifically if you are wanting to go on level 3, you do all your sunnahs, then start with Fajr and Isha. Because these are the best times that you should go to the masjid. You know, I can relate the hadith down here or something. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that we don't actively go to the mosque. And I think, yeah, we're young, and some of us maybe we live far away from the masjid, but pray to Allah, ask for Him to make it easy for you to go to the masjid more. Join the congregation. Even if you want, do congregation at home. Call your family members. Call your family members and say, let's make salah. Even that is like a level 2.5, right? Try and get there so we can get that reward, because at the end of the day, what's the reward for? Jannah. So we should try and increase our salah. Next thing is gonna be our Quran. You know, you can start 5 minutes a day. You can then do 30 minutes a day, and then you go into memorizing an ayah a day, Insha'allah. It's kind of crazy that I've lived days where I haven't read the Quran in my life. And I think that really started to change, like in my mindset, maybe not my actions, but alhamdulillah now I try my best not to even let a day pass without me reading the Quran. When like Akhi Ayman once said like, your Quran has rust on it. And I was like, yeah, why does my Quran have rust on it, even if it's for one day? The words of Allah gifted to us, we don't want to read them. We'd rather scroll on TikTok. Oh brother, I'm watching TikTok Islam. Read the Quran, habibi. Even if it's 5 minutes a day at first. Then you go learn the Quran, and you get rewarded. When you're memorizing and you're reciting in Arabic, you get rewarded for the letter. Each letter. How many letters of the Quran have you recited? Subhanallah. We miss out on these things. And even just one point for the Sunnah Salah. Sunnah Salah for Fajr, you have the reward of all the world and all it contains. We want to be rich, but we don't want to do that. We want to be rich, but we don't make worship to Allah. We don't ask Allah. We're too busy looking at the next digital marketing strategy. We're trying to get to Hustlers University, bro. I don't have time for that stuff. This is not a path to success. Our path to success is to ask the one who gives us success. And the next thing is taqwa. I think the first step to taqwa is just doing more dhikr, or like having a specific time in the day where you do like remembrance of Allah. Whether it's adkar, whether it's using your tasbih, whether it's just walking around and saying like with your fingers and stuff. Depends on you. But first find time to do dhikr. Next level, this is gonna be making dua constantly throughout the day. I recommend is I do dua like after salah, and I'm trying to be consistent in doing it every single time. But like once you get to the point where you're constantly making dua throughout the day, this is beautiful. because then you're asking Allah even more and more and more, you're more conscious of Him. The next level of consciousness of Him and increasing our consciousness is taking walks and talking to Allah. You ever taken a walk and just spoken to your Lord? You ever just stood facing the Qibla and just spoken to your Creator? You ever made sujood and just spoken to Him? Acknowledge His presence, Habib. We don't do this. We don't acknowledge His presence. When was the last time you said, I love you to your Rabb? When was the last time you said, thank you? Crazy stuff. You know, I think one of the things that breaks my heart in the Quran is when Allah speaks about how, like, most of His slaves, I think after the verse about the family of Dawood that is thankful, most of my slaves are not thankful. Something along those lines. It's kind of crazy because Allah gave us and continues to give us everything. But yet we don't even acknowledge His presence. We're too busy scrolling. May Allah protect us. The next aspect of striving in our worship, seeking ilm. Now I'm going to speak about the whole morning routine thing in the third section of this video, but choose to seek knowledge, bro. I'm telling you, it changes the state of your iman. Like I think Brother Idris on the Discord, he told me to. And the moment I started to, I was like, it kind of purifies your heart in a way. Like all this material stuff, I started wanting a bit less. Like it stopped becoming so appealing. Because I don't know, when you seek knowledge and you see the truth and you see more of the beauty and the haqq of Islam, it's kind of like, you know your purpose. Like, okay, well, that's nice, but like I don't need it. I'd rather spend my time doing this. So, dude, I really do suggest, if there is any book you want to read in the beginning, I do recommend you read The Ideal Muslim. You know, this is what I used to make this part of the video. Like, because he gave a whole breakdown of how we should act as the ideal Muslim. And I think it's very good to just seek knowledge in book form. Because most of us don't read books, bro. Books have the best sense of knowledge, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's unmatched levels of knowledge. And it's crazy how expansive our deen is. When you start looking at books on Islam, you start seeing that, like, we know nothing, bro. We know nothing. There's so many topics and books about the topic. Hundreds of pages on just one thing. We have a whole world to explore. And the last thing is kind of ihsan, right? So in terms of doing your worship, like make dua before you do work and have good intentions. We spoke about that before. Make ihsan, like work with ihsan. So let's say for me, yesterday I was trying to record this video, but I wasn't feeling it. I was so exhausted and angry. And if I was working for the sake of the business, I would have to grind anyway, right? Because it's a day of grinding. But if I know that, okay, my intention is to, number one, Constantinople. I want to help as many brothers as possible. Is this going to help them? No, because I'm speaking nothing. I'm saying nothing. Our work should be with our complete heart. We should put our heart into it. We should work as hard as possible into it. If you can't give your best, what are you doing? Then your work is not going to be good. Then your output's not going to be helpful. That's not the point. The point isn't just I'm on the discipline grind, I have to post a video. That's not the point. The video, is it helpful? Did it help people? Then it fulfilled its purpose. Then the intention was right. Then I work with ihsan. So today it's the morning. I'm a bit tired, but alhamdulillah, I'm much better in terms of recording. I feel like I can give benefit now. And that's the most important thing. Working with something that really gives your heart, like, because it's obviously at the end of the day, it's to please Allah and to help people, to do good, right? The second part of being an ideal Muslim is to do good acts and to do good. So the first part was about increasing our worship in terms of the levels and the level of dedication that we have to them. And the next part now is going to be what we do throughout the day. So more like self-improvement stuff, I guess. So point number one is to strive to do good things and help people out. So let's say, for example, your mom needs help and you're in the middle of work. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop working and you're going to help your mom no matter what level of the deep work session you're in? Or are you just going to let it happen? Tell me, in terms of Islamically, what should you do? In terms of the hustle grind and what they tell you, you're like, nah, she's disrupting my work. Astaghfirullah, bro. Yesterday, I think it was like 10, 20 times, but alhamdulillah, you do it with a loving heart. My mother needed my help. I had no choice. The deen of Islam tells me to listen to my mother first. And you do it with a lovely heart, you know? When you have the choice to do good things and help people, especially your parents, this should be something that you do. If your mom is going to do the groceries, and I think I started waking up to this one. I think I heard Akhi Ayman a long time ago. He said something along the lines of like, why is your mom going to do groceries? You dusty idiot. Why don't you go and do the groceries for your mom? She's tired. And even when it comes to anyone in general, like smiling and doing good things for people. This is important as a Muslim. This is the adab of what we should be doing. Keeping healthy and strong. So we should go to the gym. We should go and keep fit. We should run. That's even a sunnah, to run. We should eat healthy. We shouldn't be doing things that are bad. So these are one of the good things that we should do as an ideal Muslim in our day. So, and I personally think, again, intentions, work on it. For me, my intention to be big and strong is because, number one is to protect the honor of Islam, so that people don't, mess with my deen randomly, just because they think they can insult the Messenger of God, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is not what we do. Next thing is, body's in a manner, and I don't want to treat it badly. And a third thing is you get more happier with yourself, you're more proud of yourself, you say mashallah more often. So this is why we should be fit. And you can see a lot of hadiths according to the sunnah, and if you read this book, you'll see the meaning, inshallah. Next thing is looking well. This is actually something that I've been neglecting for so long, but when I was reading this book, it was really clear. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam placed a pretty big emphasis on constantly looking nice and presentable, wearing clean clothes, always being hygienic. These normal things, right? But he put a big emphasis, wearing perfume, wearing nice clothes, putting, there's one time he was trying to go out with his, I think some companions were waiting for him, and he went to go do his hair and put water in his beard to make sure it doesn't look bad, because he said that, you should look nice when you're going out with your brothers, right? Presentable. He also said that, shaitan looks ugly. So when he saw a man with unkept beard, upkept hair, he told him to go home and fix himself, because this is what shaitan looks like. Shaitan looks ugly. So we shouldn't look like them. We should look presentable and clean and good. So focus on your fashion, bro. In a halal way, lots of ways. And even if you want to do even better, focus on your fashion in a baggy sense. Even though now it's a trend, right? That's something I'm working on too. Work on your presentability. Get some nice perfumes. Face care. Grooming. These are things that I was lacking for so long. And then now that these hadiths came out, I was like, oh man, I gotta wear perfume, bro. I gotta look nice. Especially for the videos, I remember before some videos I would look like a mess, bro. I'd wake up 3 in the morning and start recording. This is not the sunnah. The sunnah is to look nice, to look presentable. Next thing is to strive for halal wealth. I think this gets a bit controversial because I do understand why. Some people take this too far, either don't make any money or you should just make money. This is both wrong. We should only strive to make money that's halal so that we can provide for ourselves. I think the belief that we use the money so we can make all this cash and we can be cool, this is stupid. And I also believe that we have to work to give our rights. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, yes, your wife has a right over you. We have to be able to provide property, and we would love to also use our wealth. Insha'Allah, we strive in the wealth and halal wealth so that we can have more barakah, and so we can spend the money in the path of Allah and to seek more knowledge. That's what we should do. And I'm not even saying getting nice things. There's no problem with having some enjoyment in the world of life, but don't let it carry you away. The ultimate success is the akhirah, but there's a portion of enjoyment and goodness in the dunya. No problem to have halal wealth, especially if you're going to spend most of it in a good cause, right? So yes, strive for this, but don't keep it in your hands, bro. Don't keep it in your heart, because I think most of us have money in our hearts instead of in our hands. May Allah protect us. Another thing you can do is focus on impact when it comes to, maybe you want to do a business, maybe you want to do work. Some of you want to be doctors, may Allah bless you. Focus on that impact. Focus on that intention of impact and helping people. And you'll see how Allah will barakah in your work, bro. Because if you're doing it for a good cause at the end of the day, and you're not putting the money in your heart, and it's not that important, and you focus on striving to help people, trust, you'll see what happens. If you want to be a doctor because you know that saving one life is as if you saved all mankind, may Allah bless you and make it easy for you. If you want to do business because you want to help people get away from doing haram things, or you want to provide alternatives that aren't bad for them, may Allah bless you. If you want to do business so that you can spend all that money on a charity or whatever, may Allah bless you. Focus on the impact that you do with your work. These are doing good things, Seek ilm in all aspects. Now, Islam puts a really big emphasis on seeking knowledge, especially in the deen, right? To understand your Lord, to understand the seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to understand all these lessons, because the laws apply to you whether you know them or not. Once you say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, these laws apply to you whether you know them or not. So we have to seek knowledge and keep understanding what we're doing so that we can become the best Muslims possible. And also think it helps with the iman. But one thing that I think was super profound is learning that Islam values learning stuff in the dunya as well. If you learn what you're interested in. Like for me, I like history, I like biology, I like geography, but specifically history the most. And I've been reading a lot about Sultan Salahuddin and Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih, right? And it's been nice to see what it was like back in those days. It's nice, and it's encouraged for us as Muslims, especially seeking knowledge in that which will make us proficient to our craft. So if you're a copywriter, go and seek knowledge in copywriting. For me, I've been reading a book called like the 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication, and dude, that's good. This is a good thing we should do. We should seek knowledge in the dunya, and even learning languages like Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He used to speak so many languages. Once the Prophet ﷺ asked him if he knew Syriac, and then he went to go learn Syriac, and then he was able to speak it. And there's also a Sahaba. I think this is a beautiful way to sum up doing good, right? And worshipping Allah. His name is Ibn Zubayr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. They said that like if you saw him when he strived for the dunya, you would think he forgot about akhirah, right? He was so on top of it, he was like grinding and stuff like that. But when you saw him worshipping, you would think that he completely forgot about the dunya. So that's what we should be. We should be the best that we can in giving in our worship, and the best that we can in doing good in this dunya for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of the day. Trying to be that best version of ourselves in all aspects of the deen of Allah. Not anything else. This is the deen. So again, I want to reiterate that there is no separation. This is what we do in our deen. They're just portions of things in our deen that we do in the day. So, make sure that you're not distracted by that and know your priorities. When the adhan comes, what are you going to do? When Allah calls, are you going to wait in your business? This is a test for me as well. Sometimes I'm sitting in a Discord call and I'm like, Wallahi, it's Asr, bro. I gotta go. But shaitan is there. So, that's also a terrible thing. And, speaking of the devil, quite literally, part 3 is staying away from bad. And I think number 1 is bad influences. I think one of the biggest things that we have a problem with in this world is specifically, I spoke about in the Umar ibn al-Khattab video, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. I spoke about influence. And specifically, I think with your friends as well. And also your social media. What are you watching, Habibi? Because you don't understand how deep your programming goes. Like, your subconscious takes in what you say. And if you keep watching people who are telling you to strive in just the dunya, forget about the akhirah, just grind, they're changing your mindset. And they're going to change your actions. If you aren't listening to Islamic people, that's also going to affect you. If you aren't allowing yourself to be influenced by people that are going to do good for you, you're going to be affected. Your deen, your qalb, your Islam is going to be affected. So if you have bad friends around you that you know about, get rid of them. If you have influencers that you know are doing more bad than good, get rid of them, find alternatives, find better friends. If you want, come join the Discord, Insha'allah. Do that, get rid of bad influences, because influence can just completely take over your mind without you even knowing. And the next thing is bad habits. I have a whole haram habits guide when you watch that, Insha'allah. But every single day, we should be fighting jihad al-nafs to make sure that we get rid of these things. And even, I would say, one thing that we should focus on in terms of staying away from the bad is look at the habits that traditional self-improvement will say is bad. Watch how shaitan uses that's not haram. Like, let's say watching Netflix or eating bad food or eating too much food, for example. How he uses that to make you do something haram. For example, yesterday, I was eating a lot of food. Right? I'm bulking, but still, I was eating too much too quick. And I felt exhausted, bro. I didn't even want to pray. I was feeling lazy to pray. And I was sitting there like, wow, this is what shaitan does. He allows you to do something bad so that he can get you to do something haram. You watch Netflix so that you see the woman without hijab, and then you get the feeling, and then you think, maybe I should go do the haram, and watch the haram, and then you do that. Even some people, they watch Netflix so much that they love these characters and they want to go get in a haram relationship. Watch the patterns of how shaitan plays chess with us. Shaitan has so much knowledge of the human, it is inconceivable. From the time of Adam to now. And his system is still getting better and better. May Allah protect us. But Allah is greater, So if you just watch the pattern, watch what he's doing to you. Watch the pattern of the stuff that's happening to you. What is leading you to that point? And then cut that off. Whether that means TV, whether that means, maybe you do a certain bad habit, like, I don't know, watch TikTok in the middle of the day and then it destroys and you become lazy. Watch that. And also, watch out for his whispers. If you want to go to the disease and the cure video I made, I speak more about his whispers, right? I think that's also helpful to understand. I have lots of jihad al-nafs videos. Being able to hear the shaitan and just ignoring him, this is really important. Because you have to be able to dispel what's being told to you as waswasa and what's not. Normally, if something is bad or contrary to Islam, you'll see that it's a problem. Or making you lazy, right? This is also what shaitan wants. Next thing is istighfar, right? In terms of staying away from the bad is also repenting. We're not perfect. Every child of Adam will sin. We're not perfect. But when we sin, what do? We repent in whatever way possible. Whether it's you say istighfar, you literally say astaghfirullah, or you do your istighfar rakat that I speak about, 2 rakat. You don't have to swear by Allah, but just do it. Every single time you do something that's bad, do those 2 rakat, right? Nafil, with the intention of istighfar. And if you've done something really, really, really bad, like haram money or zina or drink alcohol or all these things, do tawbah, bro. And shaitan will fight until the last moment. He does not want you to do tawbah. The last thing he wants you to do is to do tawbah. So you have to do it. Just do it. If you feel like you need to and your heart's telling you, do it now. Press pause in this video, leave, whatever. Do it now. Go search on Google how you do it. It's a pretty complicated. It's not complicated. It's a pretty specific process. So do that. And that wraps up how we become an ideal Muslim. We strive to worship Allah better, strive to do good, strive to be the best man that we can be, and stray away from the bad. Chapter 3, practical implementation tips. So I think one of the things that lots of people said in the videos that I watched was to control your time, to balance your deen and dunya. But specifically now we're saying, how do we balance all the aspects of our deen? Control your time. I speak, guys, how many times do I have to say make a schedule? You guys don't understand. It's right there. That's what's helping me keep myself on track. Shaitan can easily make waswasa if you don't know what you're doing. So have something there as a baseline that if you have your perfect day, you probably won't get there most of the time. May Allah make it easy for us. And then add that with a habit tracker. This will help you stay on top of things so that you can fulfill every single portion that you need. I'll say for my daily routine now to add to the seeking ilm part, I had an old daily routine where it's like I woke up, pray Fajr, journal, some Quran, then I go straight to the grind. And some people, I was speaking to a brother on the Discord, may Allah bless him, and he was saying, sometimes I do and I said this last video, fair enough, but some people I do the eating the frog task. And I was getting really upset because I'm upset that this is what they're telling us. I think what we should do when we wake up, because this is what's been making me the most happy in the world, bro. Alhamdulillah, it's so peaceful. You wake up, you pray Sunnah Salah for Fajr. You pray Fajr, then you read the Quran. You try and memorize an ayah of Quran. Read Quran, maybe with tafsir, right? That's really nice. You then seek knowledge in Islam. You get a book, maybe the Ideal Muslim, maybe anything else. Seek knowledge in Islam. If you spent from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. doing those things, or even 4 to 6:30, you would be the richest man in your entire community. Because you would have done Fajr Sunnah. No eating the frog. No, getting straight into self-improvement. No. The first thing we do is focus on our increasing of worship to Allah. Because that's the first thing I talked about. Number 1 is Jannah. Number 1 is worshipping Allah. We wake up, make wudu. Go and pray Fajr Sunnah. Worth more than the world and all it contains. Then Fajr. Then you go read the Quran. Tafsir, that you get rewarded for. You go and try and memorize an ayat or just recite the Quran. You get rewarded for every letter. Then you go seek knowledge. You get rewarded for that too. You wake up in complete peace. Wake up without the dunya and its distractions. Wake up early, dusk, and follow the Sahaba's routine. They used to, remember, that they used to do that. They would wake up, pray Fajr, remember Allah until sunrise. They would pray the 2 rakat in the mosque and they'd go and seek the bounty of Allah. That's how we should follow. We shouldn't follow these stupid kuffar telling us to eat the frog. Why would we wake up? Sometimes I astaghfirullah. I would wake up in the winter. I would do work before Fajr. Because Fajr was at 5, I'd wake up at 3. Astaghfirullah, I don't want to wake up and start working. This is not my purpose. We should wake up and follow our purpose. Wake up and specifically say that dua that we say when we wake up. All praise be to the Lord who gave me life after giving me the mind of death. Something along these lines. You know it. We died, bro. We died and we wake up and we go straight into the dunya. This is what shaitan wants. Give yourself that 1-2 hours of just pleasing Allah and working on your worship. And then you can go do your dunya. This is no problem. Go seek and do good in your deen so you can be a better Muslim. Go and seek halal rizq. Go and train. Go and do these things. But don't wake up and then, Fajr straight to the gym. This is not good. I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't do it. I would rather, and I've been feeling so peaceful and so happy doing this, which is just seeking knowledge first. Seek knowledge first. That's just so amazing, and I totally, really do push that. Next thing is the allocation of your rights. I thought this was a really cool concept that I wanted to explore. In terms of being an ideal Muslim, I saw it like this, like you have rights for everything. Everyone has rights over you, and you also have rights over you. So let's say you have a right over your body, so you do good for it, because Allah gave you a body. You have a right over Allah, so you worship Him better. Your family has a right over you, so you spend time with them and you help them. You have a right over you even. Like if you're grinding so hard that you're not resting, you're not giving yourself your own right. Calm down. You know, do something halal, that's good for you. No problem to have halal fun. No problem. Don't kill yourself doing this grind. But also, you also have a haqq over you, so that you can be the best version of yourself. Don't count yourself short. You know, there's so many different things. Like specifically, we should balance our deen with all the aspects of it. Body, mind, and soul. And rest. And that's the thing that I think I'm not, today I have to rest, bro. Because I'm even working on a Sunday. I'm not supposed to, but I didn't work yesterday. So alhamdulillah, you gotta make up for it. But I think one of the things that I have been neglecting is the portion of my family's rights. I don't spend time with them as much, and I'm gonna be vulnerable to it. I think most of us don't. May Allah protect us. And I want to work on that. I want to work on my social, like in terms of with my family, that right. And I think that's something we gotta work on, because that's not what self-improvement really teaches us. The grind is just about doing the grind. But if success is being a better Muslim, and being a better Muslim means fulfilling the rights of the other people, then Allahu Akbar. That's what we should focus on. And when you look at it like that, like rights of the body, rights of Allah, rights of your family, rights of the society, rights of your kid, like if you do that and you can work on fulfilling all those rights, and you'll be successful, akhi. I think that's a cool framework to work on, to see if every day, did you fulfill the rights of this? Did you do all these things, right? I think also you can go and check, look around at your mind, your heart, and your body to see where you're getting imbalanced in your deen. If you're doing more mind, like you're just seeking knowledge, you're just grinding, you're just, in your business, and your family is asking you why you're not spending time with us, you'll see that's a problem. You're not balancing your deen correctly.